Yay!
Are we live?
We are live. And I believe we have 3 guests here already.
Hey guys, feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know who's here.
If you don't know me, I'm Heather. I'm the Executive Director of the Conception Bay Area Chamber of Commerce.
And I'm Krystal Hobbs. I'm the owner of Reflective Marketing, and I'm going to be talking about Instagram today.
So we're going to wait, and we'll introduce ourselves again as people enter.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Lucrezia. Hi, Shauna.
Hi, Shauna. I think, Shauna, you were at the Facebook marketing session with Krystal. Thanks for hopping in.
Always good to see some friendly, familiar names on here.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we need like Jeopardy music, you know?
I know. I wonder, yeah, we can't use any music unless it's unlicensed.
Yeah.
That could get repetitive.
I'm curious, you guys attending, are you guys working from home this week or are you in the office?
So I also see Laura and Melissa. If you guys want to say hi in the chat box, let us know if you can hear and see us, if you're there. Me with my big headphones on. I couldn't put my hand on any of those little ones. Trapped in Miami.
Oh no. Well, I mean, there are worse places to be trapped, I guess. Hi, Lorraine.
Hi, Lorraine.
I'm going to update my story because we're on the webinar.
And I see Michelle Porter is here and Tanya Cake. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Tanya.
Michelle and Tanya, if you want to let Krystal know your business and where you're from. I feel like it would be convenient to have name tags for us, like on our pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So, Krystal, I don't know if you've met Michelle from Sisters in Fitness here in CBS.
We've chatted on the phone.
Okay, and I haven't met Michelle yet, but hi, Michelle, one of our new members.
And I see we have Emma on here.
Oh, there's Emma.
Uncle Junk, too.
Hi, Emma. My kids are outside. They're not alone.
It's rainy out.
It's not so bad right here. They just had to run up to the school to grab My daughter's EpiPen up there. Hey, Emma. Hey, is your mom coming on, Emma? Tanya is in Holyrood with Best Beauty. Tanya, I think I noticed your business. What is it that you sell or do? Shack Wacky, Denise. Hi. Oh. So how do I do that?
That is a good question. I think we've got a little bot.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Well, that's convenient. Okay, and Lorraine is a licensed agent with Assurant pre-need funding for the province of NL. Okay, Tanya, you do lash extensions, waxing. Cool.
Yeah, and I'm curious, the people on here, type yes or no if you are, let us know if you are on Instagram, either personal account or business. Just kind of curious where everybody's at.
So, Krystal, will we aim to get started maybe 9:35?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Tanya is on Instagram, Best Beauty NL. Michelle says, yes, but I'm terrible. That's okay, Michelle. That's why we're here. Lorraine says, no, just signed up yesterday. Emma's on it, both business and personal. Denise on it for business. Shauna, both personal and professional. Awesome. Cool. So we've got a bit of a mix here.
Awesome.
Lorraine, don't know anything about it, but want to learn. Good. That's great.
There will also be a replay of this available. So I know that we don't have everyone, but I think everyone, do you see the questions box there? If you do have a question that comes up, the best place to put that would be right there so that we can keep track of any questions. We can chat in the chat box and make comments. Definitely love to stay social during the webinar, but any questions you can pop in there.
Awesome. And Heather, did you want to say anything about the chamber before we get rolling?
Yes, I know that we do have a couple of our members on here. So I know there's obviously a lot going on right now. And really, my job is to keep you connected with any information that you might need to know that comes from trusted sources. So we do have a page on our website. You can find it at cbachamber.com, and there's a big red banner there. Anything that I can provide you, resources, links to help you with what we're going through, will be posted on there. And also, if there's anything that I really need you to think that you should see, I will send you a direct email if you are on our member list. So those will be our channels, our website, and email.
Awesome. Yeah, and this was originally supposed to be an in-person training, and I think given everything that's going on, it's amazing that Heather and her team stepped up and said, hey, we still want to offer this, let's do it online. And now we're able to bring that to more people. So thank you to the chamber, and thank you guys for all being here today.
Thanks for coming, Krystal.
All
This is great.
Yay! So let's hop into it, because I know we all have stuff to do and we want to learn all about Instagram. So it seems like 95% of you are already on Instagram. If you're not, feel free to go ahead and create the account. I'd recommend basically installing the Instagram app on your phone because it works best on mobile devices. And then you can go through the setup process. It's pretty straightforward. And Heather did send out in her pre-webinar email some instructions from Instagram itself on how to get set up there. So the really cool thing about Instagram is that it is a much more personal channel. And I hear from clients all the time that they just enjoy Instagram so much more than other social media channels. And I think a big part of that is that we get to see a little bit more about the people behind the business. We get to see, more of their daily lives and what's going on with them personally. And when we are emotionally engaged with a business, we are that much more likely to work with them. And as business owners and as marketers and as professionals, this is where the real opportunity lies with Instagram. You have the ability to more personally connect with all of your customers, and that leads them to working with you and to recommending you to other people. And I'm really excited to dive into this today. So, of course, we are talking about Instagram. My hope for you today is that you get a few ideas on how you can use Instagram more effectively for your business. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Krystal Hobbs. I'm the owner of Reflective Marketing, and it's my mission to help more small businesses step into their social media spotlight. And really with Instagram, it's such a interactive platform, and I hope that you take away some ideas today on how you can build your audience on there, how you can engage them a little more, and how you can get them to work with you. So what we are going to cover in our brief time together today, first we're going to talk about the benefits of Instagram, or essentially answer the question, why should you be on Instagram? Then we're going to get into Instagram's algorithm and how that works. And we'll talk about some examples of engaging posts. And then I want to leave a ton of time for you guys to ask your questions. So again, feel free to use the Q&A feature at the bottom of the webinar screen here, should be down there. And feel free to ask those throughout, and also, comment in the chat what's been working for you, all that good stuff. And I'll take questions throughout, but I'll also make sure to have some time at the end. All right, who's excited? Let me know in the chat. That's good. Awesome.
Yay!
All right.
Michelle, we did have a couple more people join us there. If you guys want to say hi, we still we want to hear from you.
Yes, let us know who you are and what business you're representing today. So first of all, let's talk about why Instagram. The really cool thing about Instagram is that it is entirely mobile. So you do have some options to use it on a desktop computer or a laptop, but it's really meant to be on your phone or on your tablet. So just by accessing Instagram from your laptop or your browser, you'll notice that you can't really do a whole lot on there. You can just look at things, but on your phone, you have the ability to post regular posts. You can do stories. You can interact. You have a lot more options there. So it's meant to be a mobile platform. Hey, Melissa. The other thing to realize is that it's entirely visual. So very different than Facebook, where you can share links or you can have text posts. Instagram, it's photos and videos. You have the ability to add captions with that, of course, but you do have to have a visual piece in order to post at all. And then the third thing to know about Instagram that's a little bit different than other channels is that Instagram is very much about your own primary content. So content that you're creating yourself. So that means your own photos and videos. There is some sharing ability on Instagram, primarily through stories, but Instagram doesn't make it very easy for you to share other people's posts. It's meant to be your own content. Because of all these things, generally we find that there's a lot less noise on Instagram. It's more primary content, interesting content, and you don't see the high volume of content that you see on other channels, at least so far. And I'm curious, those of you watching, what has been your impression of Instagram so far? If you've been on there for a while or you've just signed up, let us know if you are enjoying that experience or if you find it a little bit more tricky to create content. All right, I see Michelle says it's a bit complicated. That's for sure. Yeah, it is a bit of a learning curve because it is so different from other social media channels. Tanya says, I like it, but I find it harder than Facebook. Yeah, absolutely. And I hope after we go through some of this today, it'll be a little bit easier on you. Amanda says, been on for a while and it's fun seeing little segments of those who share their lives. It is harder than Facebook. Melissa says, I enjoy the post to Facebook option so I can cross post. Absolutely. Does make it so Facebook owns Instagram. So the great thing about that is the two work very well together. If you are posting on Instagram, it's easy to share that across to Facebook as well. Lorraine says, do you know any stats on how many people use Instagram? Good question. We are going to get into that. So great. And Emma says, I love that you can really let people know who you are so they are less intimidated to approach you when they want your services. Love the platform. So fun. I let my freak flag fly. That's awesome. And it is true. You can have a lot of fun on Instagram, and it really does allow you to show your personality, which is cool. So Instagram is I kind of see it as the up and comer, though it is coming up very quickly. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more. There are 25 million business accounts worldwide. So there are a ton of businesses on Instagram. That said, only 2 million of those 25 are actually advertising. So what we find is that there's a real opportunity for advertising on Instagram because a lot of people just aren't taking advantage of it. And given the amount of time that is spent on Instagram, it's there's a real opportunity. So to put it in perspective a little, Facebook on average, the latest stats show that people are spending about 35 minutes a day on Facebook, which is that's a lot of time. Instagram right now is at about 29 minutes a day. So not very far off. And a lot of businesses are actually reporting that they're getting more engagement on Instagram than they are on other channels. So something to keep in mind there. And to put it in an even better perspective, LinkedIn, which is primarily used as a professional networking tool, and definitely there's benefit there, but the average user on LinkedIn spends 17 minutes a month versus 29 minutes a day on Instagram. So it's a pretty significant difference. 60% of people say that they discover new products on Instagram. So the big thing that we find as marketers is that people do use Instagram to shop. They do have the intention there that they want to connect with businesses and brands. So if you own a business or you're working as the marketer for a business, there is a real opportunity for you on Instagram. Okay. Shauna says Instagram is fun and light. Absolutely. Yeah, I always say, I'm like, there's less crap on Instagram. Technical term, less Craig. In terms of the demographics of Instagram, it did start primarily as 30 and under, but we are seeing that rapidly change in the last year as it's becoming more popular. In Canada, Instagram is actually the fastest growing social media channel, and it's predicted that this year we should reach 12.6 million users from Canada on Instagram. Hi, Craig. Yes, I do know Craig's funky pants. It's true. Known for the pants. So most of you have an Instagram account, so I won't spend any time really talking about this. But again, you can look at the Instagram official page for business, which will walk you through how to set that up. Now, if you do have an Instagram account already, you do want to make sure that you have your account fully optimized. So I want to talk a little bit more about what that means. So Lorraine asked, do you know that by province? No, Lorraine, unfortunately, that information isn't really widely available. There are probably some roundabout ways that I could figure that out, but not here on the call, but good question. So creating your account. First thing is your name. So you want your name to reflect the business, obviously. So reflective marketing, that's our name. You'll also notice that we have our logo as the profile picture. So if your business has a logo, this is, you want to use your logo here for your profile picture. If you're more of a personal brand like Craig here, who's a realtor, then you might want to have a headshot. Okay, so make sure you can see your face very clearly. It's a professional picture. But basically, you want someone to look at your profile and recognize your business or your brand right away. Your username. So there is some flexibility here with your username. You may find that similar to Facebook, you may not be able to claim your exact business username, but you want to get as close to your business name as possible. The other thing that I always tell people is that it's best to think about how someone might be typing, trying to tag your business. So when Instagram first started, my business username on there was We Are Reflective, because that was our domain name at that time. But what I found is that when people were typing to tag us, they would start to type reflective. So we wouldn't always come up as easily. So we were able to change our username after the fact to reflective marketing. So consider that, consider what someone might be typing. So Emma says we ended up having to add NL because Funky Junk was taken. So we are at FunkyJunk_NL. Yeah, and that's a good point, because I tell people all the time, if you can't find your username, just stick a little NL on the end, because that's where you're located. But you can come up with other variations if that doesn't work for you.
Quick question there. Michelle asked, is there a difference between personal and business accounts? Are you getting to that, or?
Yes. Yep. So I will talk about that next. Okay. There's absolutely a difference. So that's
and Craig asked about posting via laptop. So I assume you'll probably get to that as well.
Yeah, I will answer that now. So you can post via laptop through, Facebook has a tool called Creator Studio. If we have some time at the end, I'll show you. But it is the only way that you can really schedule posts through Instagram on your computer without using a third-party tool. So Facebook Creator Studio, is totally free, and it's built by Facebook and Instagram, versus, like Shauna says, she uses Hootsuite. We use Later, is one of our preferred software for
I like Later
scheduling. Yeah, it's a really cool tool. But yeah, Facebook Creator Studio is awesome and free, which is nice. Okay, so make sure your profile is as optimized as possible so that people can find out exactly what it is that you do. So you want to make sure your bio has some sort of description about what it is that you offer or what you're going to be posting about. The website link that you see here is the only place on Instagram that you can have a link. So remember how I said it's photos and videos? They don't allow you to link in your captions. So this is the only place without running a paid ad or anything that you can have a link on Instagram. And you'll notice here that I have this business information section. So Instagram, you can have a business account. One easy way to check if your account is a business account is if you go to your profile, and I will try to bring this up on my screen here as well. But if you go to your profile, sorry, multitasking here, trying to pull this up. Okay. So I'm going to move this over here. Let's see. Can you guys see this big phone? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So you'll see I'm on my profile here. Now, if I click the 3 lines up in the top left corner, or sorry, top right corner, then you'll see an option for settings. Okay, it's a little delayed. So you'll see an option there for settings. And then if you go into settings, you'll see if you scroll down a little bit, there's account. And then if you scroll down on the account, if you see switch to professional account, then that means you have a personal profile set up. So you can go through the switch to business section, and then that'll walk you through how to set it up. Okay, if you do go to, again, on your profile, if you see insights there, then that means that you do have a business account already, because when you have a business account, you get access to analytics, which you don't have if you're a personal account. So can you people tell me in the comments if you have a business account? Do you see that on yours? So you should see insights, or you can go into settings and then account, and you'll see the option to switch to professional if you don't have one. Otherwise, you'll see switch to personal or switch to creator. Okay, seems like most people have that, so that is awesome. Take my little phone away here for a few minutes. Okay, everybody's all good, so that's great. Yeah, and Instagram does make it a lot easier. When Instagram first started, there was no difference between personal and business, so some people are kind of stuck still with the personal account. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about navigating Instagram. So if you are on your profile, again, this is where you can access anything to change your account. And I'll try not to fumble around here too much, but I'll bring my little phone back over. Okay, so on your personal profile here, you'll see all your posts. You'll also see edit profile. So if you hit the edit profile button here, then that allows you to make any of those changes to your bio, your website, your contact information. All of that is here. And from here, so along the bottom here, you'll see a heart notification. So that heart notification will give you all of your notifications if somebody follows you, if somebody comments. The plus sign here, so that's where you can actually post, and we'll get into that next. The explore section, so this is a little magnifying glass at the bottom. And then the house down in the bottom left here. So that will bring you to your feed where you can see all the regular posts, and you'll see stories across the top here. Okay, so those are the basics of navigating Instagram. Yeah, Shauna makes a good point here. So if you are in retail and you have products in your Facebook shop, you can tag them on your Instagram business account profile. So if you have those two linked up, then people are able to see how they can actually shop for your product, which is pretty cool. Okay, any questions about the navigation and that sort of thing so far? And I'll just check on bottom. Okay, we are good. So yeah, navigating it fairly straightforward. So let's talk a little bit more about how to engage your audience on Instagram. So this is all the good stuff. Okay, so the way the Instagram algorithm works is there are definitely some similarities here to Facebook in that it's all essentially built on engagement. Engagement is super important on Instagram. So the one thing to consider with Instagram is that their goal is for you to see 90% of the posts from your closest friends and family. Instagram wants you to be able to connect with the people that you care about. And in theory, if you were to scroll back through all your Instagram posts in your feed, you would see all of the posts that are available to you. Unlike Facebook, which has such a high volume of posts that they couldn't possibly show you everything. Instagram doesn't have that same intense level of volume, at least so far. So in theory, you should be able to see all your posts, but the algorithm will kind of determine where somebody's post is slotted amongst all the others. So which ones appear highest. And there are three main factors that Instagram uses to determine this. There are other factors, and there's a ton of stuff that they don't tell us either. But these are the three main ones that we know about and that are really important to focus on. So the first is interest. So yeah, and Lucrezia says that engagement is often the most difficult to get, and that is absolutely true. So the first core signal is interest. So if I love puppies and I'm constantly looking at pictures of puppies, and then Heather posts a picture of a puppy, then I'm more likely to see Heather's post because Instagram knows that that's something I'm really interested in. The second one is recency. So Instagram will prefer newer posts to older ones. So if you are posting a little bit more frequently, then you do have a better chance of showing up higher in somebody's newsfeed. So generally, I recommend people post daily or at least a few times a week so that you are kind of always have a better chance of being higher in the Instagram newsfeed. And then the last piece is relationship. So if I'm always tagging the CBA chamber, if I'm, direct messaging them and responding to their stories, if I like their posts a lot, then Instagram will see that I have a relationship with the Chamber of Commerce. Therefore, I'm more likely to see their posts and their stories higher in the news feed than someone that I don't interact with. So the big takeaway for us as marketers and business owners is that you want to post content that your audience is interested in. You want to post somewhat frequently so that you're taking advantage of the recency effect. And then you also want to encourage that engagement. You want to get people commenting. You want to get people liking your posts. You want them to send you direct messages, because if they are doing that regularly, then Instagram is more likely to keep showing them your posts. So I see we have a question here from Amanda. How frequently is best? Generally, we recommend once a day. Excuse me. Once a day for your posts. And that seems to be what most of the top brands are doing, once a day max, as far as your posts go. Even if you can do, 3 or 4 times a week, that's awesome. But I wouldn't go over once a day when it comes to your posts. Now, your stories, which we're going to talk about more soon, you can really kind of go nuts with those because there's no real limit and someone can choose what to watch. Okay, I see we have Karina and Danny who joined us. Welcome, guys. Feel free to introduce yourself in the comments here. Karina says, I've been posting more regularly, but still not getting new follows yet. Wondering if I need to be more engaging. So, okay, we're going to talk about that. So maybe I'll just whoop right ahead. So the big part of once you have your profile set up, you got a business profile, you have it optimized, you've got all your description in there, you have your contact information, you have your website link, everything looking awesome. Now it's about focusing on growing your presence. So there's a couple ways to do this. First of all, optimizing your posts and stories. So you want to make sure that you are using hashtags and location tags because this is what's helping you to get out in front of more people. Cool thing about Instagram is that it is very much a global network. So if you aren't tied locally, you do have opportunity to attract people from other countries because it's not as kind of closed down as Facebook is. So the really cool thing is that posts with location tags gets on average 79% more engagement. So that means I'm tagging Conception Bay South in my post, for example, that picture or video was physically taken there. And having at least one hashtag can increase your engagement by up to 12.6%. So if you are looking to increase engagement, which all of us are, it's really important that you are adding those hashtags and location tags to your posts. So just curious here, how many of you are using hashtags or location tags? I know I am trying to use them all the time. Definitely not hitting my max. Hashtags, you can have up to 30. And studies show that the more hashtags you have, the more engagement you get. So that's super important. Amanda says, I do. Shauna says, I do. However, hate when people use 1,000 hashtags. Yeah, I think some people do have a preference not to have as many hashtags. But for me, I'm like, if that's what gets the engagement and that's what gets me out there more, then that's something I want to do.
Krystal, I can ask a question there. What about putting the hashtags in that first comment? Is that still as effective as putting them in your post?
I don't know for sure. However, we have tested putting the hashtags in the comments and they are still showing up when somebody searches that hashtag. But I can't say for sure if it makes any changes from an algorithm perspective. And just to kind of explain that further, some people put it in the first comment just as an aesthetics thing so that it looks a bit cleaner, but you certainly don't have to put them in the comments. You can put them right in your caption. So Danny says, location, yes, scared of hashtags. Okay, we're going to talk about hashtags more, Danny, so I don't want you to be afraid, but that's awesome. Denise says using both, not enough hashtags. Emma says as much as I can. I have a note on my phone to copy and paste my most used hashtags. Yes, absolutely. And I do that as well. If you find you're using the same hashtags a lot, then keep it in a note on your phone so that you can just copy and paste those top ones, and then you can swap things out as necessary. And yeah, Michelle asked, can you save them? Absolutely. Craig says, save them in your notes. Karina says, that's a great idea. Awesome. Cool. So hashtags and location tags, super important. And then otherwise, it's more of your traditional audience building. So first of all, going out and following accounts that are relevant to you. They could be people in your community. It could be other businesses that are in your area, or it could be, peers or competitors, or, your local chamber of commerce. So finding other people to follow that are going to be relevant to you. Because if somebody follows you, you're very likely to follow them back. So that'll help you to build up your audience. Secondly, commenting. So if you see Funky Junk posts, their latest country chic paint. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. But their latest color or whatever, you can comment on that and be like, oh, Emma, I love this shade. And then Emma's going to engage back with you. And that's going to help you to build real relationships on Instagram. Okay, I got it. Nice. And then the last way, of course, is advertising. So all the other ways I talked about, totally free. But if you don't have time and you just want to get yourself out there more, then Instagram does have advertising options so that you can promote your posts or promote your business to get out there a little bit more and grow your presence that way. All right, so when it comes to hashtags, and this is probably one of the top questions I get, like, what do I do with these hashtags? So I like to think about it in a couple main categories. First, geographic. That's pretty easy. So if you have a local business, you want to find the hashtags that are most popular in your area. So it could be hashtag Conception Bay South, could be hashtag Newfoundland Labrador, could be hashtag YYT, whatever community you're in or whoever you want to attract there, you can use geographic hashtags to do this. My one caveat is you should always pick ones that are relevant to you. So, not naming names, but I follow this hotel as an example that will often hashtag France, hashtag New York, hashtag Toronto. I'm like, unless you're in those places, you shouldn't try to spam your hashtags. So make sure your hashtags are relevant to your business. The second category, of course, being industry. So again, could be tourism, could be home decor, could be NL restaurants. So thinking about terms that are relevant to your industry. And sometimes it's just good to kind of like brain dump a lot of that stuff. Brand terms. So you may have a hashtag specific to your business. I always recommend this if people are naturally sharing your content. So for me, we don't really use hashtag reflective marketing because we don't really get a lot of user generated content. But if you're a restaurant, for example, that people are always taking pictures of their food, then it makes sense for you to kind of claim your own hashtag. And then lastly, trending. So these big kind of global hashtags that you notice a lot of accounts use. My favorite example is Dogs of Instagram, naturally, but you may find that there's a trending hashtag that is really relevant to you, or you can hop on trends. So if, for example, I owned a clothing store and there was the hashtag OOTD, which is outfit of the day, then I would probably want to hop on that hashtag quite a bit. So the big thing to keep in mind with hashtags is that you want a balance of hashtags that are really popular, where there are a lot of eyeballs on those hashtags, versus hashtags that are a little bit more specific. You may have a better chance of standing out on those hashtags. So anytime you look at a hashtag, you will see the number of posts that use that hashtag, which will give you a bit of a gauge as far as how popular that hashtag is. So any questions on hashtags? make sure that's super clear. And Emma, hashtag nope. Perfect. And I see Joanne below is asking, will you make this webinar available for viewing later? And Heather, you did say you'll circulate a replay.
Yeah, it should be automated to send out to everyone who's signed up. And then for chamber members later, I'm hoping to send that out to them.
Okay, perfect. Good. All right, so I do want to show you. Sorry, I'm dragging my little on-screen phone over again. Always takes me a few seconds here to get this to work properly.
We have another hashtag question there, Krystal. Kenny says, what are some best practices to find the best hashtag/keywords for your business?
So good question, Kenny. And let me show you this. So in the Explore feed, which is the little magnifying glass at the bottom. Sorry, there's always a bit of a delay, so just give it a second to catch up here.
Lorraine, what is it that you're not seeing?
Okay. I think it's because there's a delay on that's all. So I'm in the Explore feed now, which is the magnifying glass at the bottom left on Instagram. Can you see the phone screen there? Do you see it, Heather?
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So if I search in here, let's say I search Conception Bay South as an example. So you can search. This is one way to find different hashtags is you can search different terms. So you'll see here when I search Conception Bay South. So the results I get, I'm in the top tab here. So the very first result here is the town of Conception Bay South, which is an account, versus all the other options below here are places. So one way I could find hashtags would be to go to the tags tab. So now I can see these are all the hashtags that use the term Conception Bay South. Curious as to, so Danny asked, how is the Explore feed populated? I just set up the CBDC Cabot account and there's all kinds of stuff in there, but how's that decided? So for the most part, the Explore feed is based on, when you're starting, it's based on popular content. But as you use the Explore feed more, Instagram will learn what content you're interested in, and then it'll tailor it to you. But if you're just starting, it's probably just popular content in there. Okay, so Conception Bay South, again, this is where I see there's all kinds of different hashtags here. So a lot of them have fewer than 100 posts, but the hashtag Conception Bay South has 5,000 plus posts. So I know that's a good one to use because it's fairly popular. Versus, let's look at the location. So if you are a local business, this will be more important to you. So if I go to any of these little location markers, see that kind of arrow looking thing, almost looks like the chamber logo. So if I click on, let's say the first one, Conception Bay South, Newfoundland, Labrador, what I'll see here are all the top posts that were physically tagged with Conception Bay South. So I can see all these posts here. And then I can also hit the tab to look at the recent posts. So just to the right of that. And then these are posts that are more recent. Now, the last thing I'll show you here is up at the very top of this. See this circle here that's lit up? So this is a story for the town of Conception Bay South. So if you click on that, so you will see this is a collection of all the stories in that local area.
Michelle has a question there. How do you create a location tag for your business?
Good question, Michelle. So it is connected to Facebook. So I can probably circulate something on that later. It's funny because I was looking this up earlier just to be sure because I couldn't remember how I did it. But you can add a location on Facebook and then it should pull it in. So if you have your business page set up with your location on Facebook, then you should be able to pull that in. It's been a little while since I've done it, so if it's fuzzy, I apologize, but I know it is linked to the Facebook side of things. Okay, so as businesses, if you're in the local area, obviously you want to add tags here, your location tag of CBS or of your specific office location, so that you have a better chance of showing up in the story for the community that you're in, which means you'll get a lot more eyeballs. So to show you how this works, if I go to, okay, yeah, Lorraine's having some issues with her browser. It might be because of
because it's
that.
Chrome. Okay, Lorraine, you will get the replay and there should be no issues with watching this part for you to catch up.
Okay, so just to show you guys how this works in sorry, a little bit of a delay again. I'll just give it a second. But basically, when you upload a story, you have the ability to add a location tag. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here because I do want to make sure we have lots of time for your questions. The big thing to know as far as the difference between, I'll just move my little phone for a few minutes here. The big difference between your posts and your stories are that posts are really meant to be kind of the best of your content. If you want something to hang around for a while, then you want to have it as a post. So for example, if you look at Manna Bakery's feed, you'll notice that in this example, they have a lot of really beautiful pictures of food. So it's all kind of the best content that they have to offer and stuff that they want to stick around for a while. Versus stories are something that they can have a lot more fun with. They can show kind of quick snapshots of things. They can add little stickers or polls or ask questions, and it's meant to be something more fun. So what I'd like to do now, and let's see if my little phone wants to cooperate again, but if you want, you can follow along here. So first of all, let me just show you if I were to, so if I click the plus sign down at the bottom, this allows me to create a new post. And Emma, you're probably wondering why there's pictures of you in my screenshot. It's because I had examples of posts. I promise I'm not a creep. But I was just going to show that I really like the video that you did about how to paint fabric. All right, so felt like I should explain that one. So if I take a picture in my camera roll, so from here I have the ability to make different changes to my picture. So I can zoom in a little bit, or I can kind of make it its regular size. There's also the three little buttons here on the right-hand side where it shows multiple squares. This allows you to pick multiple pictures so that it essentially has a swiping effect. Okay, Cheryl's saying I can't see the presentation. You should see a big phone screen.
And this particular webinar studio recommends that you use the Chrome browser. So if you're not using that browser, that may be why.
Yeah, fair. So once you pick your pictures, then you can hit next in the top right corner. And that will bring you to your filters. So you'll see all along the bottom, these are just presets for different colorings and lighting and brightness and all that good stuff. So you can pick any of those. And you can apply that to all your photos. And then when you hit next, this will bring up where you can write your caption. So let's say, ready for the CBA Chamber webinar on Instagram. And then here I can start to add my hashtags. So I might say Instagram, and you'll see as I type them, then I get a list as well. So it'll give me some ideas of things that I can post. So I can do Instagram tips. I can do Instagram. Let's try Instagram training. So that one has 51,000 posts. So that's probably a good one to use. Then if we look at Instagram training for business, this one has about 100 posts. So that one's probably not a very popular one, but I might appear in the top post for that because it's not as widely used. Okay, so here I can add all of my hashtags. And then you'll notice in the other options here, add location. So you can see because I'm in CBS, I'm getting all kinds of CBS location. So Funky Junk is there, for example. But I could even manually type something in. So let's try Sisters in Fitness as an example. So that's not coming up. Or I can just do Even Conception Bay South. And then I can choose that location. And you'll also see if you have Instagram linked to your Facebook page that you can automatically publish that across. One thing I usually say is that Facebook users don't necessarily know what hashtags are, or they might not like seeing the clutter of them. So usually when I cross post to Facebook, I'll remove all the hashtags and just add them back later, or I'll go into Facebook and delete all those hashtags, just so it's a little bit of a nicer experience for the Facebook user. And then you also have the option to tag people. So I can tag Buddy the dog who's in my photo, and voila. Okay, so then I can go ahead and share that post. Now, if I wanted to do a story instead, so I'm just going to back out here. So stories, the easiest way to access it is when you're on your home screen. So again, the little house in the bottom, you'll see there is a camera in the top left corner. So if I click on that, that'll access my camera roll. And from here, I can do all sorts of things. So if I do this, put the little sun above my head, and I'll just give it a second to catch up here. And you'll notice there's all kinds of different options on the bottom that'll do some different filters and that sort of thing. Whoops. There's also, so if I go back a little bit, this is a good time to play around with this, with your stories as well. Okay, so along the bottom, there's also, and sorry, that big branding thing is in the way there, but there's also the create mode, which will allow you to type something instead.
This is a good question from Danny.
Mm-hmm. Okay, will Facebook give me the opportunity to share the Insta story to my CBDC account versus my personal account? So, Danny, long answer short, you do have to be an admin on the Facebook page for the CBDC account in order to link the Instagram account to your Facebook account. So, Danny, yeah, I guess, are you an admin already? You are? Okay. So, basically, in the account settings, where before we switched it to a professional account, if you go back to those account settings, there is a section there for linked accounts. So, you can make sure that you link your Instagram account to your Facebook business profile. So I hope that answers that
question. Then Krystal stories will transfer over there if you like choose that option as you're publishing your story. It will link from business to business page if you make the connection.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Good question. Thanks, Danny. Okay, so I won't go through all the story options there because there are a ton, but do know that it is one of the most fun places of Instagram. And besides that, people who are Instagram users spend a ton of time on Instagram stories. The cool thing about stories is that they're essentially the prime real estate on Instagram because when somebody logs in, they see all those circles at the top and they're right at the top, they're right in front. And they do very much have a Netflix-like effect. Or if you click one and you start to watch it, it'll automatically go into the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one, and then you get sucked in and you can spend hours watching stories, which is terrible as a person. But as a business, it's awesome because you have a real opportunity to stand out there. So Tanya asked, how do you add more than one story? Basically, once you add your first post or video to your story, then you can go back to your story again and add another one, and it'll just automatically stack them one after the other.
Did you notice Denise's question? She asked, they'll be soon adding their Etsy link. Should that go in the bio?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can put it in the website section on your bio. Okay, so I'll just show you this one thing and then we'll take some questions and clue up. But once you have your post done, and let's see if this wants to work.
Michelle,
for me.
Do you mean like an image that you've created that you want to add to your story? Yes.
Yeah, so you can.
So really, you just need to get that image on your phone. Swipe up.
Yeah.
It's swipe up on the story, right, Krystal? And then it'll show you your library.
Yeah, in some phones you'll see like an icon. I wish I could do it that way. You'll see a little square icon in the bottom corner where you can access your camera roll, and then you can just pull the photo up and add it to your story instead of to a post.
Yeah, it's down in the left-hand corner there.
Yeah, so Tanya asked, I'll get back to Kenny's question, it's longer. Tanya asked, can you make a story a post? So yes, when you post to your story, you can then go back and let's see if it's gonna work for me now. I might have to disconnect it and try it again. Silly screen mirroring. Sorry. Can you make a story a post? So when it's in your story, you can go back, pull up the story, and then you can hit the three little dots. So This is working for me now, so I will show you. So here's your story. You'll see the three little dots down in this corner. So if you click on that, then you'll see the option to share as post.
Great.
Okay, so see that there, share as post. Okay, Kenny asks, how would you prioritize story versus post? Something that is on my mind is, does this content warrant a full post or should I just share a story? So usually stories, I use them in a couple different ways. One, if it's something timely. So let's say, for example, I'm a restaurant and I have a daily special. I want to put that in my story because people may not see my post right away. So if it's something that's like timely, like daily special or my opening hours or I have to close early or whatever, then I'll put that in my story. If it's something that's a little bit more fun, behind the scenes, quick little things, I'll put that in my story. If it's like, let's say you get a new product, I might have one post or one story that's like, oh, this new product just arrived. Here's a quick little demo. And then I might take a picture that's a little bit more professional, and I might put that as a post. So I hope that answers the question. You try to be a little bit more polished with your posts, but you want your post will stick around longer and it will overall get more reach, but your story is more immediate and a little bit more interactive and fun. Tanya says, do you feel like live content is important? So by that, Tanya, do you mean stuff in your stories or do you mean actually like Instagram Live? So I'll wait for you to answer. Instagram Live. I think it's something I would experiment with. We've done it a little bit. I haven't seen the same uptake necessarily on Instagram Live, but I think it's because basically once you're done being live, you can save it to your story, but you would have to download it and then upload it again to IGTV to be a video post that sticks around longer. So hard to say. I think it's something I'd personally like to play with a little bit more. I think there is absolutely benefit in doing that and then repurposing that content on IGTV, which gives you a lot of options and stuff there. Karina, good question. So what is appropriate to post right now given current events with COVID-19? I don't want to seem insensitive. That's a good one. And I mean, that's something we've been having conversations to clients with about all week. I think, here is a little bit different in that we're not seeing, I guess, the same severity that we're seeing in other places. So I do keep that in mind. People want to know if you're open. If you are open, people want to know, your safety practices, what you're doing to make sure that all of your clients or customers are being taken care of and are safe. So usually we're posting things about that. Otherwise, given Karina, you're a coach, we try to acknowledge the situation, but also make it positive. I think if you think about the mindset of people right now, they're seeing a lot of news, they're seeing a lot of stuff that's really negative and sad. So personally, with a lot of our clients, we're trying to make things a little bit lighter, but obviously keeping in mind what's going on and the true severity of the situation. So Shauna says, we have posted about what we are doing to ramp up cleaning. Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of that. So I think that's definitely important. But yeah, just kind of thinking about the mindset of your clients and what they might want to hear.
I think right now, I mean, just sorry, Krystal, it's a time to get creative and think about, what do your customers, what make them feel good right now to hear from you.
Yeah.
Like Shauna mentioned what they're doing as well.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think there is opportunity to talk about your online options. I know we've done that, and I must have edited the post like 13 times to make sure that, we're being sensitive to the situation. But ultimately, there are a lot of people who are sitting at home and they do want to feel like they're making progress in their business. So Karina, for you, I think it's totally fair to be like, here are online options. Here's how you can continue to work on your business and make sure that this isn't a terrible impact, because a lot of businesses are really thinking about the financial implications of what this is doing to them. So I know we're a little bit over time, so I want to clue up and then I'll take any other questions that come in if you guys want to stick around. So what we talked about today, first of all, the benefits of Instagram for business. So again, fastest growing social media channel in Canada. It's entirely mobile for the most part. It is all about your own content and it's only visual, so photos and videos. Started as primarily 30 and under, but that is quickly changing and it is becoming more popular. And a lot of brands are seeing higher engagement on Instagram than other channels in some cases. We talked about the Instagram algorithm. So the 3 core signals. Pop quiz. I don't know if anybody can tell me what they are. I'll give you a second in the chat. Let's see if anybody gets some. But we talked about the Instagram algorithm and went through posts and stories and the differences and some of the things that you can see there, the importance of using your location tags and your hashtags. Oh, look at Shauna. Shauna's taking notes. So Shauna said interest is number 1, recency number 2, and relationship. So interest, topics or content that your audience is interested in. Recency, newer is better, and relationship. So if you're getting a lot of engagement interaction, then Instagram's going to favor your posts for those users who are interacting with you.
Yay!
Yay!
If I had a virtual prize, I would give it to you.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you, Shauna. So yeah, I will take any of the last questions and thoughts coming in. If you are looking for more help, I'm always doing content on Facebook and Instagram, lots of stories and videos and tutorials and all that good stuff. And we do offer one-on-one virtual coaching if you need a little extra help getting this to work for your business. So any last burning questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. And otherwise, we will clue up in just
I'm going to ask you a question, Krystal, just because I do see this and I know that business owners wonder, what kind of tools do you recommend for creating images and posts like with text and things like that outside of the Instagram platform?
Yeah, so Canva is the one that we use the most. In fact, since I discovered Canva, I stopped using anything else. So it's pretty well all that I can speak to. But Canva is an easy drag and drop graphic design tool. A lot of the features are free, but you can get a premium account. I think it's like $7 a month. And that'll give you access to more features and be able to save your own branding and stuff. And yeah, it's just an amazing platform for creating your own visuals. So Danny asks, I probably missed that, but link in bio, how would one go about that? So that is in your profile. When you hit edit profile, there's a website section. So that is the only place that you can put a link. So when people say link in bio, they're referring to that website section in their profile. Okay. Heather, you use
Shauna
Adobe?
mentioned that she uses Adobe. I also use Adobe as well. Okay. Now, I mean, Adobe is, it is an expensive tool, but it is great. But you would need some training on that to use it for sure. Canva is amazing. for business. There's so many templates. You can be very polished and not know much about graphic design using Canva.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah,
actually, Shauna just
absolutely.
mentioned that there are free Adobe products. I believe it's Adobe Spark, maybe. So I'm just going to pop that in there. I actually do
Yeah.
find Adobe Spark a little bit glitchy sometimes, though. So, but that everything's glitchy. Like we live in a glitch world.
That's true.
Okay. Adobe. Was there any other questions that we didn't see?
I think that's it. Oh, Michelle said, can you join Instagram accounts? Oh yeah, so Michelle has multiple accounts.
Wait, now, does she mean merge?
Good question. Yeah, I don't know if you can. I haven't run into this yet.
I haven't seen it, that you can merge Instagram. I know you can merge Facebook pages. So Michelle, did you accidentally have two accounts for Sisters in Fitness? Is that the issue?
Yeah. Yeah, I know from talking to Michelle before that there were a couple duplicates. I don't know that you can merge them. However, you could probably go through and get access to all of them and then just delete the.
Yeah, maybe what you could do if you want to use the one that maybe has the most relevant followers, do you think, Krystal? And then you could put up a post and say, hey, this is our account over here that we're using, and try to get more followers over there on the one that you're going to stick with. And then eventually delete that maybe after 2 or 3 months. Maybe what I'd do.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if there's yeah, I don't think you can easily merge them.
Because I know Facebook only recently allowed you to merge pages, I think. So.
Yeah, they've definitely made it easier now. Yeah. Shauna says, be careful when posting if you have both personal and business account on the same phone. Definitely make sure you're on the right one.
Kenny asked, what are some things to keep in mind when targeting locally through Instagram? And I think this is a really great question because we did, I know we talked about the hashtags, but someone also on Twitter, when I posted our link, asked about local hashtags. And I think it'd be really cool to come up with a list of local hashtags right now
Yeah. Well, let's crowdsource. Those of you in here that are in the CBS area, what are you guys using?
And I think we need to think about like Newfoundland and like, even if we're targeting CBS, target St. John's. Like it makes sense to bring visitors into CBS who might be searching for St. John's because they sometimes don't realize how close we are. Krystal, I don't know, is that something that you offer to like put out there, like, hey, here's a hashtag list? Because maybe we can, if anyone has any hashtags they want to add into the chat box now, we can take those down, and then maybe Krystal and I can come up with a little list. I've got some here actually myself. Okay, Shauna says shop local NL. I'm going to copy and paste these. Okay. And then I can always follow up in an email with this list of hashtags so that everyone can use them.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, I can see the shop local NL is quite popular, actually. Good suggestion.
I know. Okay, well, I have a whole list here, actually. Like, obviously, YYT, love St. John's. Some of these, some are Twitter, but I feel on Instagram, like they usually do crossover from Twitter to Instagram. I mean, you don't want to use NLWX if you're promoting your products, or NL traffic. Those are special over there on Twitter. NL food, hashtag St. John's, hashtag Newfoundland Labrador, Hashtag best kind is a Newfoundland one. I don't know if anyone wants to write down. I have these here, made right here, and I'm going to copy that. Yeah, so maybe I can send this off. Why is this?
Yeah, that's a great idea. I know. I feel like everybody is guessing half the time with the local hashtags.
We can kind of try to take a look at them. Awesome. So are there any other questions?
Oops. Oh, I always do that. Trying to scroll on one screen, but I scroll on the other.
Tanya says, should you only use hashtags relevant to your content?
That's a good question. I try to keep it as relevant to the content as possible, but I'll also have ones that are relevant to the business. So I do a bit of a mix. Like I might use, I don't know, hashtag marketing agency, even if my post is about some feature on Instagram. So still relevant to my business, but I'll do a mix of my business ones or brand terms or industry terms, plus like what my actual content is about.
Mm-hmm. You can try to create links to your site from trending terms.
What do you mean? Oh, for example, when the Game of Thrones finale was trending, I posted recliners we have for sale. Cool. I like that. So using the hashtags, you mean? And I created pics of recliners as thrones. That's awesome. I love it. Cool. All right. I think that's it for questions. Any last thoughts, Heather? Oh, Kenny got another one. What are your thoughts on changing up your copy across platforms? What sort of language do you find works best on Instagram versus Facebook or Twitter? Or is it fairly universal? I find Insta allows me to be a bit trendier in terms of creating copy. Good question. We obviously will tweak our content a little bit depending on Instagram versus Facebook. I usually experiment a little bit with shorter copy versus longer. We are seeing that on Instagram, really long kind of storytelling posts can do really well. So that would be something I'd experiment with. Awesome. Okay. Thank you all for attending. This has been awesome. And yeah, thank you, Heather, and the
awesome. Thanks for this, Krystal. I'm not sure what kind of webinars we might have coming up, but keep an eye out on our social media channels because they will be posted there as they come available. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.